Hello viewers, welcome to India Today. This is Maruti Acharya
And I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
and we just completed watching the latest Kannada film Kothalavadi. So before getting into further details, firstly, Sanjay, how was your experience of watching the film?
My experience varies somewhere between mixed to somewhat enjoyable. Why mixed? Because there are a lot of drawbacks in the film. One being the kind of screenplay method they chose, which is old school, leaning towards being somewhat outdated. Some scenes are feel outdated. The technical department didn't seem like they were from today's time, which is why I'd call it mid. Why would I call it enjoyable? Is because of the drama it presented, because of the story it presented, and because of the performances, especially once again Gopal Krishna Deshpande. Back to back weeks, we just watched Banduk and now this, and the performances. He's just showing a great shade as an antagonist.
It would have been a good film if it released around 2010, 2015 because over a period of time, cinematic language and the sensibilities of audience keeps changing. This movie, the drama, the conflict, the performances also to a very large extent, everything, the setup, the themes, everything fits really good. It's a nice drama, but the only thing is technically staging, presentation, cinematography, everything feels outdated. If executed in a very, according to the current sensibilities, it had a lot of potential to be a very intense and compelling drama.
So the film Kothalavadi is directed by Sriraj, is produced by Pushpa Arunkumar, who for the unversed is rocking star Yash's mother. The film stars Pruthvi Ambaar, Gopal Krishna Deshpande, and a lot of other prominent actors from the Kannada film industry who've established themselves over the years. The list goes long. There are really talented actors as well as a bunch of new young age actors as well. So the mix is good of talent in the film.
Yes, coming to the things that worked for me in the movie, I really like the theme, the concept, and the drama that they have built around the film because nobody feels like a straight protagonist or antagonist. I really liked how, even though Prithvi is actually the protagonist if you look from the conventional perspective, but to a very large extent, and the way how organically Gopal Krishna Deshpande's character flows and the vulnerabilities, the sensibilities of village people and how rigid they are, the way they have handled the characters, the way they have built drama, the way they have built conflict, nothing feels forced. Again, a mild spoiler but a little example. Mansi Sudhir also played a very important role of a senior politician in the film. Now her character at the starting of the film, if you look at it, it feels like a conventional typical character, but again the integration of the character and how the stakes were built around that character really surprised me. Drama and characterization of each and every character really works.
Yeah, I second that. By what makes this film enjoyable? What could be the USP of this film is the drama it has. The kind of relationships built there, the way they've depicted the village life and how everybody. It's not that you have to be a blood relative when you're in a small town, when you're in a small community. It's just about people who are close to you over there and how to what extent people are ready to go for each other in such a setting, and that was also showed beautifully. All of those things add a lot of value, which made this film enjoyable in parts. It made it compelling, and in parts you could pay attention irrespective of all the presentation flaws that were happening. Cinematography, in a way, I like the colors presented, I like the way the aesthetics were presented, I like the way the village life was presented, all the visuals that were there. So visually the film was really good, but did it offer anything more than what was just on the screen? Did it have a deeper meaning? Did it have a message? Did it have a oh my god visual? No, but it was just beautiful to see on the big screen, so that is another plus for me.
The theme and message of the film is something that I really appreciate because again there are some movies which touched on that topic, and again it is a very forced messaging, especially when it comes to water, sand mafia, and how people like. There's a very good scene where there's discussion happening between Prithvi's character and a cop's character about
Rajesh Nataranga.
exactly. So everybody, they come from their own perspectives and their own intentions, and that conversation really spoke a lot about the conflict and understanding. And you don't look at the themes that they are discussing in either black or white. You actually try to understand the deeper reasons of the film. of the themes,
Multiple
multiple
perspectives.
layers, multiple perspectives, and all of that, and how it comes together. Nobody is actively trying to change a bunch of people or one person or a community. So the theme, the way they have discussed and integrated it into the drama, is something that I really liked.
See, there are two kinds of films. I mean, message oriented films.
Yeah.
One which is just integrated for the sake of having that as a, tick on the checklist. The other where it plays an integral part in the story. And Kothalavadi is that.
Correct.
Which is why I appreciate it a lot. It is organically developed around that.
Correct.
It was not just written as a part of your story building process.
Yes.
It was the story. And that part I really liked.
Now coming to drawbacks of the film, what didn't work for me is the outdated setup, and how setup in the sense technically the staging, the framing, the reaction shots, cut shots. It feels like the fight sequence and its choreography and its integration into the screenplay, songs and its integration into the screenplay. Again, objectively, I genuinely told you, right, if it is 2010, 2015, it had a lot of potential to be that mass commercial popcorn flick on big screen. But because the sensibilities have changed and we have watched so many films in similar genre, film ended up just being a generic film because of the execution and having that outdated tone rather than having an impact on you.
That is fair, but I have a different perspective about this. For me, I totally understand why one would call it outdated, why one would have a problem with this. I too share the feeling in some parts, but in some other parts, I felt like it was just old school. To give another reference, recently we had this Telugu film called Bhairavam, which also follows a very, old school templated pattern of storytelling.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, it was enjoyable. For me, I think it is because, in a way, I am kind of reaching a saturation in, showing the village life as just misery.
Okay.
This one, while it does show the problems, it is not purely just misery. It is a life there and everything that is happening there that
Correct.
has a good love angle. It has a good, relationships with people, whatever is happening there, the ups and downs and the unity and all of that, which I kind of liked. I wouldn't really complain totally about the pattern of screenplay. It is fine. For me, it is more old school than outdated, but I do agree that there is some outdatedness in some scenes. So one complaint that I have with the film is I felt like the film was sort of a mixture, or there were elements in the film which were like biryani mein ilaichi.
Okay.
When you're eating, you suddenly get a bite of that and it irritates the hell out of your brain, right? When you're enjoying a flavor. So I felt like there were moments or choices in this film that were suddenly too mass or too safe or, convenient or something like that.
Agreed.
Or the sudden transition to a song or whatever that you mentioned, which were like the ilaichi in a biryani for me. The biggest ilaichi for me was the choice they made in the climax. I was like, is that the right way to go? Because until that point, the climax had made me feel it. I was feeling things. I was also feeling whatever the characters in the film were feeling. That one call, I personally would have
Correct.
avoided.
Yeah, other than that, film works in its totality, and some threads, some loose ends are left. All of that is understandable, but will that hamper the experience, or will it really be a big deal breaker when you're watching the film? I don't think so. Like Sanjay said, if you look at it as an old school presentation and if you're convinced and invested in the film, you are going to enjoy more in comparison to if you're somebody who feels it is outdated, but the drama part will definitely hook you, is what I would say.
Well, that was our review of the film Kothalavadi. Please do go and watch this film in theaters. It is waiting for you.
And also this weekend we did watch another Kannada film called Banduk, and I can't call So From So a small film anymore because it is blowing up. I think you watched it. If you watched it, how fun it was for you. I would just say it that way. How fun it was for you. Mention that in the comments below. If you still didn't watch it, I think you should definitely watch it.
I'm vibing to Bandhano, Bandhano, Baba,
Today somebody's
Bandhano.
ringtone was that, no? Some
Bandhano,
journalist's phone
Bandhano,
had that as a ringtone.
Bandhano.
Full
Brilliant. Yes.
Yes, with that, this is Maruti Acharya
And I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
and you're watching India Today.